What's up, everybody? You already know who it is. It's DripGodDero, and I'm back at you guys with another banger. So, in today's video, we will be talking about what's next for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this is definitely a team that was very entertaining this season. And hey, before we do get into this topic, I want to thank you guys for all the support that you've been showing on the channel. Y'all been going crazy on the most recent videos, especially that OKC video, man. Y'all been going bonkers on them. So shout out to you guys and keep supporting the channel. And without further ado, let's switch over and let's get right into it. All right, so as we know, the Minnesota Timberwolves, in my opinion, they were a team that definitely overachieved this year. Now, as we know, they were the third seed in the NBA Western Conference, and during this season, they had a lot of ups, man. They went fairly far in the playoffs. In the first round, they made quick work of the Phoenix Suns, sweeping them boys, sweeping them, just broomsticking them. And then they ended up going up against the defending champions, the Denver Nuggets, and ended up beating them in a 7-game series, 4-3. It was a very exciting series, and they pulled it off. Now, they did come up short against the Dallas Mavericks, where they lost that series 1-4. The Dallas Mavericks, they pretty much gave them a gentleman's sweep. And with that series happening, it does bring a lot of questions for what's next for this Minnesota Timberwolves team. Now, like I said, me personally, I think that they did definitely overachieve just in general. And just to go over some of the key players that caused them to overachieve so much, first and foremost, I would have to bring up the best player on the team in Anthony Edwards. Now, Anthony Edwards, he definitely stepped up this year, man. In the playoffs specifically, he did average 27 points per game, and he shot 48% from the field, which is pretty good. And for his three-point percentage, he shot 40%. So he definitely played outstanding for a majority of the playoffs, and he really balled. Right behind him, we got Cat. He played okay. I would have liked to see him play a little better, but just to go over some of his stats, he did shoot 46% from the field when it came to the playoffs, and 36% from three when it came to the playoffs as well. Another outstanding player that really stepped up was Jaden McDaniels. He definitely stepped up on the defensive end along with Anthony Edwards as well. They both stepped up defensively. And, Jaden McDaniels, he showed that he is a real 3-and-D player just over the season, man. He shot pretty much 42% from three in the playoffs. And when it came to his field goal percentage, he shot 51%. Now, just to go over some of the regular season stats when it comes to some of their more important players, Jaden McDaniels, he did shoot, 33% from three during the regular season. So he pretty much stepped it up in the playoffs. So shout out to Jaden McDaniels. Like I said, he's really starting to show that he can be a dependable 3-and-D player. Rudy Gobert, he had a solid season. He did what you expect him to do, get rebounds and, defend the rim. In the regular season, to be specific, he really, showed his mettle. He averaged down near 13 rebounds per game on 2 blocks. Now, in the playoffs, that did go down some. In the playoffs, he did struggle a little bit more. He didn't get nowhere near as many rebounds. When it came to his rebounding in the playoffs, he only got 10 rebounds per game. So that dropped off compared to the regular season, as you would expect. And man, overall this team played fairly well in the regular season and the playoffs. But now let's just take a look at their salaries so that we can see exactly what this team can do to possibly be a little better this next year. So as you guys can see, I do have their salary up, and this year they were 13th in team payroll. I expect that to go up next year, and you guys will see once I scroll down. Now, you do see the other the different options. Light blue is player option, red is team option, green is qualifying offer, and purple is two-way contract. All right, so let's scroll down. Let's take a look at what to expect from this team in this upcoming season. So first and foremost, I'll say the biggest thing to look at is just Anthony Edwards. As you can see, this year he was only making $13 million, but this upcoming season he is getting paid handsomely at $42 million. So you don't have Anthony Edwards on that rookie contract no more. He will be getting top dollar next year. So that's something to note. Another thing to note is that Mike Conley, as you guys can see, he was making $24 million this year. And that will actually decrease to $10 million next year. So they do gain some more expenses with Anthony Edwards, but they also lose some with Mike Conley. But let's be real, Anthony Edwards, he's getting paid way more than Mike Conley, so their payroll will go up. Now, let's take a look. We got Cat, he locked in for the next 4 seasons pretty much. Rudy Gobert, a very interesting player. He will be locked in next year, and then the year after he has a player option. So with that being said, that does go to note, do you think about putting him on the trade market just to see what you could get? He was getting paid $43 million a year. And $43 million a year, that could definitely get you some decent players. So it's like, do you put him on the trade market and try to get, a decent big, one that may not be on Rudy Gobert level, and get some additional solid pieces? I don't know. Another player that would be interesting to possibly put on the trading block is Naz Reid. As we can see, he does have next year locked in, and then a player option for the 2025-2026 season. Now, I like Naz Reid. Me personally, I think he's a good role player, so I would keep him. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of teams out there that wouldn't mind having Naz Reid on their team. So that also begs the question of, should you, put him on the trading block and see what you could get to add some pieces to your team. Now, to scroll down, let's talk about some other players. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I would lock him back in. He will be on the final year of his contract next year. He played great defense this year, and he really stepped up off the bench. So I would lock him back in. I give him a 2 to 3 year extension. So shout out to him. Jaden McDaniels, he locked in for the next couple of years, and then as you guys can see, he was only getting paid $4 million this year, and then he gets that boost up to $23 million. So like I said, more than likely their payroll will be higher next year. Just to scroll down, the rest of these players, not too much to talk about. They got Wendell Moore. He locked in for 3 more years. That's cool. But just to give my thoughts on what's next for this team. So at number 1, I think that they should not overreact. This is a team that a lot of individuals didn't really expect to go as far as they did. Let's be real. A lot of people didn't expect the Minnesota Timberwolves to beat the Denver Nuggets. A lot of people didn't expect the Minnesota Timberwolves to beat the Phoenix Suns, but they did. A lot of people didn't expect the Minnesota Timberwolves to make it to their conference finals, but they did. So number 1, I gotta go with don't overreact. Number 2 would be that you need the individual players to get better. What I mean by that is that you need Anthony Edwards to work on his decision making, especially in the playoffs. He threw a lot of turnovers, and that was one of the biggest problems with this team, man. Anthony Edwards, he was turning the ball over. He, try to beat his opponent with his first up, and then end up jumping in the air because he couldn't beat that defender, and he'd end up turning over the ball. So you got to work on that. When it comes to Cat, Cat, he got to work on his IQ. I seen countless times where he would just chunk up a contested three. Like, what are you doing, bro? If you got a smaller defender on you, you know, actually work on your post game and back him down. Take advantage of that. Use your IQ. If you open for the three, take advantage of it. Don't just chunk up a contestant. So you definitely gotta have your stars work on their individual game, man. Another thing, when it comes to the coaching, the only thing that I really have in regards to the coaching is that they definitely got to work on fouling, man. This team fouled a little too much, especially in the playoffs. But besides that, their coach Finch, he has been a pretty good coach. He led them to the conference finals. I can't really argue on his coaching. But yeah, other than that, that's number 3 right there. Number 4, possibly. And I said possibly. Think about trading Rudy Gobert. Because, you know, in the playoffs, he was kind of struggling against these other bigs, man. So it's like, if you think you could really, you know, get rid of Rudy Gobert and find a decent big that can kind of fulfill the duties of Rudy Gobert, why not? But at the same time, I think that they shouldn't over-exaggerate or, you know, overreact and just, you know, stick with the crew. You know, the team played fairly well. The team worked well together, and it really just comes down to, you know, the individual players getting better, be it Cat, be it Anthony Edwards when it comes to their game. Also the younger players such as Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you want him to keep moving forward and keep getting better. You want Jaden McDaniels to continue working on his 3 and getting better. He showed the signs that he was getting better on his 3 in the playoffs, and you want him to continue improving on that. Don't do any drastic changes. Y'all played very well this whole season, playoffs and all, and, you know, just keep building on it. Keep building on it. Don't do nothing too drastic. But, hey, if you enjoyed this video, you already know what to do. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the motherfucking channel, turn on notifications and all that good stuff, and I'm out. Peace.